What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Well, Karl Anthony Towns of the Minnesota Timberwolves on the surface had a career night that you would think would be celebrated. He bested his own personal franchise record for a single game performance, which was previously 60, with a 62-point performance against the Charlotte Hornets. Now, you would think a 62-point game against the Charlotte Hornets, then you're thinking, well, man, Minnesota had to win by at least 15 points, right? They lost. And to be honest, they may have been better off with Karl Anthony Towns settling for 52 points instead of 62 points. He started off hot. I mean, well, when we look at the numbers on the surface, we get to that first. When you get to the numbers on the surface, they look great. 62 points, 21 of 35 shooting from the floor, 10 of 15 from downtown. I think he was 10 of 14 from the line. I think that was, instead I saw 8 rebounds. Phenomenal offensive numbers. In my opinion, I've said it before, Karl Anthony Towns is the best three-point shooting big man in history. Some people refuted me on that. And I didn't say best shooting all around, but he is the best three-point shooting big man I've ever seen. Last night he came into, look, for his career, he's a 39.8%, I believe. Career three-point shooter, basically 40%. 39.9% now. And after last night's performance, he came into the night shooting 43% from downtown, now 44.7%. Yeah, he's a phenomenal three-point shooter, even though it is easier to score in today's era. But he only went 2 of 10 from the floor in the fourth quarter, meaning that going into the fourth quarter, he was actually at one point in time 20 of, 20 of 25. 19 of 25. He was 19 of 25. So at one point in time, he was unbelievable. I don't know whether or not, I don't know the timelines too well, but I think maybe they saw what Embiid was doing. I don't know, caught word of that, or he did. I don't know. I don't know if he was trying to have a night even greater. But what was starting off as a tremendous performance turned into hero ball, and ultimately they lost. And the coach for the Minnesota Timberwolves, Chris Finch, went off afterwards. It's a quote. Matter of fact, let's see if I can play the audio right now.
It was an absolute disgusting performance of defense and immature basketball all the way through the game. So it really didn't slip away. It had been there from the jump. So this is what happens when you have this type of approach.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing that I've always said bothers me about the modern day player is their individualistic look at basketball. Me personally, I like the way that basketball used to be played in the 70s and 80s into the 90s. And no disrespect to Michael Jordan, he's a phenomenal player, but I think Michael Jordan had an indirect negative influence on the NBA in one way. He was such a tremendous singular scorer, right? Who could, when things weren't going well with the Bulls' triangle offense, he could, within the flow of the game still, take over offensively and save the day for the Bulls, right? But a lot of people don't understand that even though Michael Jordan was a great scorer, he was a team player. He went to the College of the University of North Carolina, right? Guys now I think are too individually wrapped up in their games sometimes. They have these incentives in their contracts, and they play for, some guys are playing for stats, and they don't want to mess up the field goal percentages and all these different things, and so stat obsessed. The NBA back in the day, and I keep trying to tell people, that's why you can't look at numbers. Like, they'll look at stats from a team like the Celtics or something, and they'll see, oh man, this guy only averaged 17 points. He only averaged 18 points. Yeah, because they were playing, they were sharing the basketball. College still had a very major impact on basketball back in the 70s. Those guys, if on a bad team, they could average 25, 30 points a game, but playing as a team worked better as far as winning, which is why there was so much parity in the NBA in the 70s. It wasn't because of a lack of talent, like some of these nitwits say. It was because they were playing basketball, in my opinion at least, they were playing basketball the right way. And if you play basketball the right way, as we see with the Detroit Pistons, as we've seen with the old New Jersey Nets teams with Jason Kidd, if you play basketball the right way, that collection of players can elevate that team. So that's why I believe that we saw more parity in the 70s, because teams were playing a better brand of basketball. Overall, in my opinion, at least. So, yeah, Karl Anthony Towns, if you want to say it, yeah, he blew the game. It wasn't just him, but he was a major factor into it. So, yeah, that's just my take on it, at least. Tell me what you guys think.